Welcome to the Final Four in the Champions League, the semi-finals, first legs. We've got Thogden, and it's gonna be big.
No English teams are left.
No.
Does that bother you, Theo?
No, it means we can have an unbiased review of the Final Four and really judge who's gonna be playing at the road to Wembley 2024.
Theo, I told you never to sing.
What? What's wrong? I've got a beautiful voice. I can...
Go hard, what do you need?
Let's just cut that little bit out and get straight into the first game, which is Bayern Munich.
No. This is the last four. If you want to see some vlogs on the main channel, we need 5,000 likes. We're not messing around here.
The first game is Bayern Munich against Real Madrid. These are two teams, Theo, who've won the tournament 20 times between them. And this is the most played fixture in the history of the Champions League.
24 of them have been at knockout stages, which just tells you, like, how much these guys face. You've got the champion often of Spain against the champion often of Germany. Not this year for one of those two. Bayern Munich could be the first time they're trophyless since the 11-12 season. The Harry Kane curse. But that could all change in the Champions League. And remember, if they do go on to win this competition, someone like Harry Kane could win the Ballon d'Or. There is no clear winner. So they will be thinking about that. But then on Madrid's side, Jude Bellingham will be like, why don't I win the Ballon d'Or if Real Madrid go on to? So it's all to play for, Dad. Who do you favour?
Well, let's talk a little bit about Bayern Munich first, Theo, because they've won this tournament 6 times. Now, they're not the granddaddies, but they know their way around this tournament. League form, Theo, second in the league. You went to see Bayer Leverkusen win that league. How does that impact Bayern Munich?
They've lost motivation. They've had managerial change-arounds. I don't think Tuchel is going to be there for much longer. We know that. The players know that they only really have to play the Champions League and then it's done. Will they have that extra bit of motivation? I'm not sure. We know Madrid have it, the way they knocked out Man City, but Bayern... do you know what? The way they turned around Arsenal at home, kept that game goalless from Arsenal's perspective. Kimmich took his moment and knocked him home. Yes, they've had their slip-ups in the league, but when it matters, they are a strong side together.
They are a strong side, but what worries me is a couple of things. Firstly, psychologically, the last 7 games between these two sides have been won 6 times by Real Madrid and drawn once. So will that be in Bayern Munich's heads? The other thing is, if you look at the squad values of these two teams, they're not that far apart.
No.
But look at who's on the injury table, Theo. Gnabry, Sané, Coman. That's massive.
It's massive, and as Bayern Munich, you have to not lose that game. You can't go to Bernabeu with a loss. You can't. It's done. They'll just hold it back. You saw the way they played against City. They killed that game off. They strangled that match to a draw and then won on pens. It was a masterclass from Ancelotti and his side. Bayern have to lead this game, and I don't think they will. I don't think they have enough firepower. All I know is that the 3 straight home defeats that Bayern have against Real Madrid in this Champions League knockout stage, it does worry me, because that's at home. That's where we've got to rely on. But if there's one man to watch out for Bayern Munich, it's the Englishman, Harry Kane. 3 goals in the last 3 games. They will be thanking their lucky stars he's not in the injury room.
Well, I tell you, look at his stats this season. 7 goals and 3 assists in this tournament, which is brilliant. And look at the league form. 31 games, 35 goals and 10 assists. So whatever you say about Bayern Munich, this man, Harry Kane, is absolutely world class. Yeah,
it's probably the worst Bayern Munich team that you've ever seen in your generation. To think that they're in the Final Four and there's no English teams left is bonkers. But Dad, Real Madrid, they benched some players. They rested Real Sociedad, a solid Spanish side at home. You thought they'd go win it. They didn't. They got Arda Güler. 1-0, masterclass from the Turk.
But look at Real Madrid. They've won this tournament 14 times. They are the godfathers of the tournament. The last 10 games in the UCL, won 7 and drawn 3. And look at their league form, Theo. They're going to win the league in the next week or 2.
How do you think they line up at the Allianz Arena? Do they go defensive like they did against Man City? Or do they go more free-flowing like they did in the first leg against City, which ended a 3-3 draw?
I reckon they'll go for it. What you know about Bayern Munich, if you let them attack, they can punish you. Forget league form, Theo.
We know that.
They are dangerous. We're not even talked about Jamal Musiala, who's one of the most exciting young players in the world.
And this season at home, they killed off Lazio when they were 1-0 up. They killed off Arsenal when the game was a draw. They are brilliant at that, but Madrid will come fighting. And do you know what, Dad? They've got less players in the injury room. Jude Bellingham is fit. Vinny Jr. is ready to go, Rodrigo, the whole team, they can go full throttle, which is why they've never had a better chance of winning it. They're current on a 10-match European unbeaten run off that epic penalty shootout, which continued it. And of course, Dad, it's Carlo Ancelotti facing his return club. He's already managed Bayern Munich, and he's actually never lost to Bayern Munich as a manager. 8 games. Previously with Milan, etc. Madrid. 6 wins, 2 draws. That's an unbelievable record he's got against that side.
But let's talk more about Jude Bellingham, Theo, because he is a phenomenon. Only 21 years old. He's already smashing it in the Champions League. 4 goals, 4 assists in 8 games. That's brilliant. Smashing it in the league. Smashing it for England. one of the most valuable players in the world.
He's becoming more of a second striker without another player there. It's weird to explain the Real Madrid tactics. The midfield is so fluid that he goes into that forward role. He dips in late. He scored that winner against Barcelona in the El Clasico. He was there to take his penalty and drop a masterclass at Madrid. Yes, he didn't score, but the way he ran the pivot role, when they got the ball down, under pressure, he bought them time. Released Rodrigo, Vinny Jr. And actually, Dad, Vinny Jr.'s, out of his last 4 goals, 3 of them have been before the 25th minute.
Yes.
So if Real Madrid hit them hard and early, and he scores again, it wouldn't surprise me. That's what he does. So let's get to predictions. What are you going for?
Well, my goodness, there. I think the Vinny Jr. Jude Bellingham effect will be massive. I think Real Madrid have got the better squad.
Okay.
But it's at the Alliance. So I'm just going to sit on the fence, going to go for goals. Because in the quarterfinals, Theo, there were 32 goals. That's 4 goals every game. I'm going to see 4 goals here. 2
draw.
2-2.
We agree.
Yeah.
2-2 draw. It's written in the stars, isn't it?
Written in the stars.
High scoring at the Bernabeu. That second leg is going to hit like crack. Let's go to the second game.
And the second game on the Wednesday is Borussia Dortmund against Paris Saint-Germain.
Yes.
You've got the surprise team.
Hey, B for B. Hey, B for B.
Against the billionaires from Paris. Now, talk to me about Borussia Dortmund, Theo, because they won this tournament in '97. They were runners-up in 2013s. They are the surprise package. But you know what? They've got a little bit of experience.
I don't think any Dortmund fan would have predicted that they'd be 180 minutes away from a Champions League final with this current squad. It's unbelievable, and they have to keep riding the wave. They literally lost 4-1 to Leipzig on the weekend.
Yes.
They don't care about the Bundesliga anymore. In fact, they're so far down the table, they can't qualify for Champions League next year. The only way to do it is by winning the Champions League.
5th in their league, Theo, so they're going to be in the lower European tournaments unless they win the tournament. Now, you spend a lot of time in Dortmund, so do I. The mood in that city after they got to the semi-finals, can you describe it?
All I can say is that the Atleti game was a miracle. I expected a draw which would send the Spaniards through. What we saw is just unheard of. That the quality and the connection of the players, the way Julian Brandt took his first goal, Ian Maatsen took the second. What's funny about Ian Maatsen is the last 4 goals now he scored for Dortmund, he's always made the score 2-0.
Yes.
He loves having a bit of comfortable set in his mind. No, they're leading by 1 goal, clean sheet, scores a second. They've got quality there, Dad. But they've got a great understanding of the manager and they really want to fight for the badge. It's their 10th Champions League appearance since the PSG in the semi-final last time. They've got 6 wins in the last 12 Champions League home games. It's not great considering, that's where they should be winning games. But at the same time, there's a few of them have been draws.
But the key here, Theo, is the last 10 games at home in the Champions League. They haven't lost. Now look back at the last 6 games between these clubs.
Knockouts,
1-1, Theo, drawn 3 and lost 2.
Yeah.
So it's
the knockout
in favour
record
of
hasn't
PSG.
been as good. From the last 12 home knockout games, 6 wins from 12. And they've already played PSG this year in the Champions League at the group stage. They lost away and drew at home. If they do that again, they're out of the Champions League. And let's go and talk about PSG, shall we?
Yeah, so it's interesting because obviously the value of the PSG squad is way over. It's like 600 million more in terms of euros.
Crazy amounts more, but do the play. I mean, what's the connection within the 11 that they're going to play?
Now, we know that they're walking away with the French League, Theo, the Farmers' League, as you called it.
But it's done, they've won it.
They have, but they've never won the Champions League. Now, psychologically, BVB have, but PSG haven't.
It could be Kylian Mbappe's last season. I'm sure he signed an NDA and already signed with Madrid. That's my prediction. I think the Madridistas know in the back of mind they're getting him. So Parisians will think it's now or never for this club. It's the last year with Kylian Mbappe. Neymar's gone. Mbappe is the final of the 3. Messi's gone. It's our last chance. Play to his strengths. Beat Dortmund. We're in a final. We've got the 4th favourite to win the Champions League. The second leg is in Paris. It's written for PSG to finally do it. Will they bottle it again? Because they have tendencies of doing it, don't they, Dad?
They do, Theo. Now, logically, you look at the Kylian Mbappes, the Hakimis, and all the stars that are in
Quality
that PSG side.
Yeah.
It's what I call the yellow wall effect, Theo. You come up against a team like Borussia Dortmund, the fans are against you, the passion is there, and somehow that BVB team will play out of their skin. Their biggest star is probably Jadon Sancho, worth 25 million euros.
No, they don't like playing as one player. There's no I in team for Dortmund, but the problem is Paris sometimes feels like there is. There is an I in Paris. History always matters. To break into the mould of being a Champions League winner, it isn't easy, and I feel like Luis Enrique should be happy with a draw. He should be taking a draw at Dortmund to go back to his stadium, and I think that's the result that's going to play out here. 1-1. I think Dortmund will be 1-0 down. Gonzalo Ramos will hit them in the first half. They'll come back in the second. Ian Maatsen, he loves a second goal. 1-1 draw, and then it's all to play for over in France. What do you think?
It's very interesting that you say that, because the logical man or woman would look at those two squads, would look at those squad values and would say maybe 1-0 to PSG, 2-1 to PSG. But because of the yellow wall effect, it's a 1-1 draw.
What?
It's a 1-0 draw.
So you're telling me we've done all this filming, Dad, just to agree in both predictions?
Do you know what? I know it's only 10 in the morning, but I'm going down the pub.
What? He's off. Enjoy the Champions League. Watch the main channel. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.